Hi guys and welcome back to Learn Extra Live Grade 10s. I hope that you are enjoying the show and learning lots and lots. I know that my tummy is rumbling because I want some of those sweeties and I think that we're going to be going over some awesome stuff. Now I just want to see what's on the page here. Let me just have a look here. Ignite Chanda is on the page. He says he's just tuned in. I'm glad you're tuning in, Mindsetter. Let me know if you're watching. And without further ado, we're going to go back straight to Haley. Haley, take it away.
Thanks, Indy. Hi, guys. Welcome back. Well, I spent the break counting these little Smarties and seeing how many we've got in boxes. But I'm going to ask you to estimate that. So let us go back to, well, we've discussed which of these options the sweets packed together is the most efficient way. Okay, so I think that coming back to that depends on what you're needing it for. And then as far as efficiency is, in the boxes, we realize that there's more sweets, less space than there is in the packet. And the reason is in the packet, we decided we needed a little bit more leeway for kind of breakages and, well, damaging the sweets. We don't want to damage the sweets. So now let's go to the next question. And the next question says, in which option are you getting more sweets per rand spent? So we want more sweets per rand spent. So let's go back to this for a second. And I'm going to now just discuss and add to this. We had the small box, which cost us 28 Rand 95. That was 150 grams. Okay. In our bigger loose box was 33 Rand 95, but here we had 280 grams. And finally, in our packet that was packed together for us of the 4 boxes was 22.95, and there were 4 boxes of 40 grams each, so that was 160 grams. So we could literally work out the cost per gram looking at this and see which is actually better for value for money. And do we really need to do the calculation? Because straight away I can see, well, I've got 160 grams here for less money than I have on this option. So my small boxes are actually quite expensive. I've got less grammage for, this was, let me just try to get these both into the screen at the same time. So this was, let's write it on top here, this was 150 grams. So if we compare these two, right, clearly I'm getting better value for money, okay, on top 3. And the reason is, well, what could the reason be actually? Come. Think of it, guys. Can you try and answer? What would the reason be? And I think if you think about the way it's been packaged with all these small packages, you're probably using a lot more packaging. And they're charging you somewhere along the line for this packaging. So the convenience of having these small boxes. So we're definitely going to, the small box is not value for money. Between our medium box for 22.95 and our loose, which was 280 grams. Let's try and work out which is cheaper. So let's work out a rand per gram kind of thing. So, or let's do it per 100 grams. So let's find some space. I'm going to get some space at the bottom of the page here. Right, in the first one, we had 280 grams for 33 Rand 95. And the second one, we had 160 grams for 22 Rand, was it also 95? Let me go back to those pictures and just check. Have 22.95 and 33.95. So now I want to work out a price per 100 grams. So what am I going to do? I'm going to, from 280 to get to 100, I'm going to divide by 2.8. Let's just double check that that actually does work. So 280, if I divide by 2.8, I'm going to get 100 grams. So I'm going to do the exact same thing on the other side. I'm going to divide this, I can if I've got a pen, I'm going to divide this by 2.8. And in this case, I'm going to divide it by 1.6. And the reason I'm not working in grams is that sometimes you get such a small value for grams, that such a small amount of money, that it actually ends up being harder to compare. So for 100 grams, I should get rands and not just cents. So let's do this calculation. So on my calculator, I've got 33 Rand 95. Divide that by 2.8, and we get 12 Rand and 13 cents. And I'm going to actually leave it as 12. So I've got 12,125. That's rands per 100 gram. And let's compare the other one. So the other one I had 20, was it 23? 22.95, 22.95, and divide that by 1.6. And here I get 14 Rand 34. That's rands per 100 gram. Now, which is better? Well, which is better, Indy? If you're paying 12 Rand per 100 gram or you're paying 14 Rand per 100 gram? Clearly, our packet is much better. Okay? We're paying less money per 100 grams. So better value for money is the packet, even though the efficiency of packing it wasn't as good. But then the other thing that needs to come into it, and you guys need to always keep this in mind, is what are we using it for? And have we actually got the 33 Rand 95 to spend right now on the sweets? Okay? If we've only got 25 Rand, then clearly we're going to have to go with those ones. But now I want to discuss the volume and how many sweets are in a box. So, should we go over to my table? Follow me to the table. Right. In our small box, we had Smarties, and I'm going to show you, and I hope that you can pick this up. Let's open a box. Right. There is, in actual fact, very little empty space at the top of the box. Although when you shake it, it feels like a lot of space. So there's quite a bit of space in between the Smarties, but at the top of the box, not too much. Okay? If I look at one of these Smarties, and I try and estimate the volume of the Smartie, or maybe let's work with weight of the Smartie. So let's try work with the volume. Right, this is about 1 centimeter. No, we're going to do a little bit better than that. It's about 1.5 centimeters in diameter. And I'm going to estimate this, okay, at about 3 centimeters wide, maybe 2, not centimeters, millimeters. Say 3 millimeters wide. I'm going to try and measure this. It's going to be hard to really do. It's actually a little bit more than that. It's probably 5 millimeters in thickness. So let's try work out the volume of one sweet. Let's go back to the board. I'm having such fun with these Smarties. I hope you're having nice comments on Facebook.
We are indeed.
Good.
I shall read them out just now.
Okay, I'm glad to hear that. So I really am having quite a bit of fun. Okay.
Except we get to eat them though. If only we could actually hand them through the TV and give all our mindsets at least one
At
Smartie.
least one Smartie.
But
But then we need a lot of Smarties.
Yeah.
And I know we don't have that
A lot.
many.
Then we need at least 25,000.
Okay, let's work out. So we're working on our volume of our Smartie. So now what does our Smartie look like? We're going to actually do it as a cylinder. And we're going to kind of cheat a little bit because it's not fully cylindrical. It actually flattens out on the sides. So I said that the diameter was 1.5 centimeters. And the height was in actual fact 0.5 centimeters. Now because it is not fully as thick on the sides, I'm going to change this to say, whoops, disappeared. I'm going to change that, let's bring it back down. And I'm going to change that from this 5 to possibly 0, let's make it 3. Kind of to even out the fact that it's thin on the edges. So our formula is now we need pi, which remember we always use 3,14, times my radius squared. So I need to divide that by 2 first. So that is 0.75 centimeters squared times my height of 0.3. Hey, so let's get our calculator out. So 1.5 our diameter. We first get our radius, which we got right. So 3.14 times by 0.75 squared times by the height of 0.3. And we get 0.53. With 0.53 centimeters cubed per Smartie. That is, each sweet is 0,5. So let's round it off to 0,5 centimeters cubed. Now, how many sweets can I fit into the box? And let's go back to our box. Our volume of my small box was 24,75. So I'm going to change color here. Let's go with orange. 24,75. If each sweet was 0,5, how many sweets can fit in the box? And we're going to check this out in a moment. So this is kind of our investigation. 24,75 divided by 0,5, and I'm going to get that. I should get 49 sweets. So somewhere along the line, I've made a huge calculation mistake. Not sure where. 49 sweets. Okay. Now, I know there are not 49 sweets in the box because I've just counted them. So let's go back to that calculation. What did we do here did we make a mistake in our calculation here?
But it's a very important lesson to actually learn. Also, when you do get, the wrong answer, don't panic. Go back, see where you've gone wrong. Just relax, Wusa. You can sort it out. Yeah.
Absolutely. So I've got the 1,5 centimeters. Okay. There's my mistake. It wasn't 0,3 centimeters. It was 3 millimeters. So, no, that's 0,3 centimeters. Is it correct? 0,3 with 3 millimeters? No. Okay. Not really 100% sure. So in the break, I'm going to have a look at where this is. But let's go back and actually just check how many sweets we've got in the box. So if I look at the sweet is about, I'm going to estimate about 1 gram in weight. Okay, that's an estimate. If I count the number of these, now remember we calculated the volume of this to be about, we calculated the grammage of this at about 17 grams. So how many sweets do I expect? About 17 sweets. Okay, and what do I see when I count them? There are in fact 17 sweets in here. When we look at the volume, when we look at the grammage of this, there was 40 grams. There were in actual fact 42 sweets in one box.
2 extra sweets.
2 extra sweets. Okay, so we've got 42 sweets. So now we've got to know, if I counted all of them, how many sweets would there be? It's quite an interesting exercise. So my question to you, though, is, if this is 280 grams, how many sweets do you think are in the packet? So I'm going to have a guess. It's probably about 280 sweets in the packet. And I think, possibly in the break, I don't think we're going to try and count these. We're going to assume that we are correct. So how are we doing with time there, Indy?
I think what we can do, Hayley, is we can take a break. So that's exactly what we're going to do. I know that if I had a little cupboard that I could run to and scarf my face, I would right now. And maybe that's what you guys should do. Maybe get up, have a bit of a stretch. It's a bit of miserable weather today. Make yourself a cup of tea. And we'll see you now after the break.